Hey, what is happening there, everyone? In today's video, we're going to take a look at some really cool behind-the-scenes moments from the movie Ant-Man, especially those fun and action-packed scenes where Ant-Man and Yellow Jacket fight inside Cassie's bedroom, escape in a helicopter, and even battle and destruction. We'll explore how these scenes were actually made using a mix of practical effects, CGI, and some amazing camera tricks. So let's jump right into the video and see how Marvel brought these tiny-sized epic scenes to life. Okay, first let's start with this. One of the most iconic scenes is when Scott Lang first shrinks into Ant-Man and tumbles into a bathtub. To capture this moment, the filmmakers used macro photography, shooting real objects in extreme close-up to make them appear massive and detailed. This means they didn't entirely rely on CGI. Instead, they cut and customized 6 real bathtubs to form unique shooting setups. This gave the team realistic references, allowing them to match lighting and textures when switching to digital shots. And when Ant-Man's friend turns on the water, the splashing drops and fluid chaos around Scott were fully CGI, but based on real bathtubs that were 3D scanned to build accurate digital replicas. The blend of real textures and digital animation made the moment feel tactile and thrilling. Right after escaping the bathtub, Scott Lang finds himself shrinking uncontrollably and falls into an apartment where a party is in full swing. In this visually striking and creatively designed sequence, Scott lands on a spinning record player disc that's playing music. To bring this unique moment to life, the filmmakers built a giant, oversized version of the music player in the studio. The grooves of the disc were recreated on a large scale, allowing the team to capture realistic textures and lighting. Surrounding the set, blue screens were placed strategically so that the background could be digitally replaced during post-production. To choreograph Scott's movements with precision, motion control cameras were used. These high-precision rigs allowed for perfectly timed camera motions that enhanced the tension and immersion of the scene. In the shots where Ant-Man runs between the dancing crowd under the partygoers' feet, the character was created entirely with CGI. The digital Ant-Man was carefully animated to blend with the real party environment. The sequence continues as Scott accidentally falls again into another apartment where a woman is vacuuming. In this scene, the interior of the second apartment and the moment of Scott's fall were created digitally using computer-generated imagery. The CGI team crafted the layout and lighting of walls and floor interaction to maintain realism while emphasizing the chaos and scale of Scott's shrinking adventure. This scene takes place during the climax of the film, where Ant-Man and Yellow Jacket clash inside the colorful bedroom of Scott Lang's daughter Cassie. It's one of the most iconic sequences in Ant-Man, masterfully blending practical sets with CGI. The bedroom itself was real and detailed, filled with toys, fairy lights, and vibrant decor. To bring the tiny bathroom in the movie to life, the filmmakers used CGI to create miniature versions of Ant-Man and Yellow Jacket, along with effects like the toy train derailment and explosive impacts. Instead of using macro photography, the team digitally simulated the camera movements to feel grounded and dynamic, making the audience feel as if they'd shrunk with the characters. When the toy train derails or toy cars explode, those effects weren't purely digital. Miniature pyrotechnics were used on small-scale models, and the destruction was captured using high-speed cameras. This allowed every particle of debris and spark to look weighty and realistic, despite the tiny size of the environment. This part of the scene takes place just after the bedroom battle, when Yellow Jacket attempts to escape using a helicopter. At first glance, the helicopter might look fully real, but behind the scenes, it's far more different. A model of the helicopter cockpit was built for close-up shots. This practical set was constructed slightly larger than a real helicopter to give actors enough space to move and perform. The surrounding environment was covered with blue screens, which were later replaced with CGI visuals of a backyard skyline and Cassie's house. The helicopter's interior, including buttons, levers, and damage effects from the fight, were carefully designed to look like part of a toy, but still interacted naturally with the actors. Another incredible sequence in the film is the mid-air battle inside a falling briefcase. Ant-Man and Yellow Jacket are tossed around in zero gravity while fighting as objects like mints, a phone, and other small items float with them. The inside of the briefcase, including all its contents, was created using fully CGI environments. A dynamic light source, the mobile phone's key, candy, etc. was animated to bounce around the space, casting realistic reflections and glows onto the characters. This attention to lighting detail helped maintain immersion even in a digital setting. One of the biggest practical effects in the film is when a tank crashes through PIM technologies. Surprisingly, this film relied on a detailed miniature model of the building and a dummy tank painted with blue screen elements. The destruction, the walls crumbling, debris flying, was a blend of physical breakage and CGI, where the tank's movement and the falling rubble were enhanced digitally. Actors were shot separately on real locations, reacting as if the chaos was happening around them, syncing perfectly with the final visuals. During the scene, the people inside of the lab seen running around were actually directed to do so ahead of time. Watching it though, it really looks like they're seriously in trouble. As the intense helicopter fight unfolds, both Ant-Man and Yellow Jacket crash land straight into a suburban family's backyard swimming pool, a humorous yet action-packed moment. But what seems like a spontaneous splash on screen was a marvel of CGI wizardry. When Yellow Jacket rises from the pool, his entire suit isn't real, it's pure CGI built from scratch. The VFX team created a complex honeycomb texture on the armor using custom shaders and lighting tricks that made the suit appear wet, heavy, and battle-worn. To simulate the water dripping from Yellow Jacket's suit, digital artists used advanced CGI fluid simulations. Every droplet sliding down his armor was carefully animated using Houdini software with custom microsolvers to mimic the natural flow of water on a metallic surface. In scenes where the characters leap over the water and attack, they were shot using harnesses and wires. The sequence also showcased the constant size shifting of Ant-Man and Yellow Jacket shrinking and growing in rapid succession. To sell this illusion, macro photography techniques were employed. Objects like glass shards and carpet fibers were shot in extreme close-up, making them feel massive in scale. The fight's chaos, from shattering glass to bursting electronics, was largely created through CGI, while precise camera angles and shallow depth of field made the scene feel grounded and real. Inside the high-tech walls of PIM Technologies, tension reaches a boiling point. Darren Cross prepares to unveil the Yellow Jacket suit to buyers, confronting his former mentor Hank Pym in a dramatic showdown. On screen, the moment is intense, full of betrayal, threats, and also with fight and purchase and the weight of past secrets. But behind the scenes, it was all smiles. The actors rehearsed their serious confrontation like a choreographed dance, pausing in between takes and laughing. The heated argument was pure performance, a credit to the talent of the cast who flipped the switch from playfulness to menace as soon as the cameras rolled. One of the turning points in the film is when Scott Lang breaks into a house and discovers the mysterious Ant-Man suit for the first time. Behind the scenes, the cast captured Scott's shock and curiosity, experimenting with different expressions and reactions. As Scott climbs the walls of the house before entering, Paul Rudd was strapped into a safety harness and attached to cables. With the help of a stunt crew, he performed the wall-scaling sequence practically, giving an authentic sense of movement and weight. The harnesses and safety wires were later digitally erased in post-production. The ultra-modern science lab in the movie, it wasn't real at all. Those intricate lab interiors were actually shot in a studio using blue screens and essential set pieces. Some physical props were used on set, but the rest was created during post-production. Using CGI, the background was transformed into a high-tech laboratory with glowing gadgets, panels, and detailed structures that felt right out of a futuristic startup. In this behind-the-scenes glimpse, we step into Ant-Man's grueling training montage where Hope Van Dyne, Evangeline Lilly trained Scott Lang, Paul Rudd in hand-to-hand combat. What appears as slick, fast-paced action was the result of weeks of intensive training. Professional stunt coordinators designed the fight choreography using moves inspired by boxing, Aikido, and MMA. Both Paul and Evangeline committed to learning these martial arts sequences with precision and realism. And finally, we revisit one of the most thrilling crossovers in the MCU, the fight between Ant-Man and Falcon. This sequence was shot in an open-air location with practical stunt work. Anthony Mackie, Falcon, was suspended using harness wires to simulate flight, while Paul Rudd's scenes as Tiny Ant-Man were filmed separately. To create the moment where a miniaturized Ant-Man jumps and punches Falcon right in the face, Anthony Mackie had to perform the reactions alone, which is essentially fighting an invisible opponent. Later, the VFX team added Ant-Man in post-production using digital compositing. The blend of real stunts, CGI, and seamless editing turned the sequence into a fan favorite. Ant-Man may be the smallest Avenger, depending on how you see it, but the work behind his world was gigantic by blending practical ingenuity with digital mastery. It was a film where the ordinary became extraordinary, where a bathtub became a canyon, and a child's toy became a weapon of war. Behind every scene was a team of visionaries, artists, engineers, and storytellers who fused cutting-edge technology with timeless techniques, from hand-built miniatures to custom VFX pipelines. Marvel didn't just build a movie, they built a world from the ground up, and that's how Ant-Man's tiny world became one of the biggest visual triumphs in the MCU. So now you guys tell me, what do you think about the movie? Let me know all about it in the comments down below, and until then, take care and bye-bye for now.